Okay guys, we're back. For the next procedure, we are going to take this, this clear plastic protection plate, if you will, and we're going to have to drill a couple more holes in it according to the instructions. There are some holes that are pre-drilled. Let's see if I can show you this. Oh man, I suck at being backwards with direction. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, these holes here are already drilled out. The holes that we're going to have to drill out are the holes that are in between those corner holes. So there's one here, 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 and here. So we're going to drill those out. We're going to basically try to find center of this area, and we're going to drill them about the same size as these other holes. So that's the next step, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to cover a couple of things here. First and foremost, I have my holes drilled out. The additional holes that are needed for this bottom protective plate. It's going to sit just like that with the RCI flipped upside down. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the these are like motor protective caps here. They come in the landing gear box. That's box number 4. There's a lot of items that come in that box. Don't freak out. We're going to address them all and go from there. So I've got 3 of the 4 of these motor caps already installed, and I'm just going to do this last one for you just so you can kind of see how this goes. So basically this has some tabs in it. It's all directional. You can't really screw this up. I probably will because that's just what I do. Oh, there we go. So it just kind of snaps into place. It's on there. We're good. Okay, we're going to move on to installing the landing gear. And like I said, there's a lot of components in this box, but for starters, the only thing you're going to need are the actual gear supports themselves. They look like this. They're probably the most awkward looking component in this entire set. And you're going to need bag 4G. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the screws that are in bag 4G to trap the plastic sleeve between the landing gears and the frame itself, like this. So the screws are going to secure the landing gear and secure the plastic protective dust shield, if you will, to the frame itself. So that's where we're headed next, and I'm going to get started on putting some screws in. I need both hands to do this, and this process takes a little while. The easiest way I found to do it would be to put the screws in, probably start them halfway, and then go from there. So I'm going to do this with the camera off just because this process takes a while. But basically you're just playing connect the dots. You're going to add, it's a total of 8 screws. Yeah, 8 screws. And then we're going to have this landing gear all fixed, and then we're going to put the struts on, the actual landing gear struts themselves on. So that's the next step. Okay guys, we're back, and as you can see, I've got the landing gear screwed into place. The protective dust shield is trapped between the landing gear and the cage itself, and we are on to putting the struts, landing gear, the rest of that system together. There's 2 different types of methods for installing the carbon rods, these support rods. The first one is some grommets in a bag, and the second one is these nice rubber stoppies, and I'm going to use these just because they're a little bit beefier, and they are already slotted. So you will take them, and they will only go one way. You want to make sure your orientation is correct, so when you pass the rod through, everything lines up. So, for example, we're looking at the front. We want our landing gear skids on the side, and they'll feed through. These are going to add a great little bit of rigidity and stability to these. Let me zoom out here. There we go. To this system. So there's some additional indicators that will help you locate what's front and what's back. There's some red ones and some green ones just for directional purposes. You can install them if you like, and if you don't if you don't think you need them, don't install them. I'd suggest it because when this thing's moving through the air, any little bit of orientation thing to give off a little bit better orientation is very good to have. So I've got my landing gear skids in place. They come with some sweet little end caps, so it holds everything in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw some green on the back just so it helps me a little bit more. It's pretty cool. They give you these are all pre-cut and everything. And there's a spare parts bag in there also, so if you lose some, there's one additional red one and an additional green one. And there's also some extra one of these skid end caps, if you will. And that takes care of that. I think that pretty much covers the landing gear system. What we're going to do next is we're going to put the propellers on and we're going to add a receiver. So I shall return momentarily. Okay guys, we're back and let's talk propellers. Because this is a quadcopter, two of the propellers are oriented in a counterclockwise position. There are going to be two clockwise propellers and two counterclockwise propellers. Now this is the part where I strongly suggest you go to the instruction manual to make sure you understand which goes where. Two propellers that spin in the same direction will go across from each other on the body of the eye. They're in the same bag. You can't really screw that up. The only thing you can do is get it backwards, but just remember, across from each other, this propellers with the same pitch angle are going to go across from each other. Same thing goes for the opposite, left and right side. They're going to go across from each other. Same pitch, just across from each other. After you put these propellers on the motors, you're going to notice that on the motors themselves there's like a, it's like a hex nut almost that traps the prop. It's pretty sweet. And then you're going to add your washer and your prop nut. And to be honest with you, the one thing I haven't pointed out yet was the amount of tools that this particular project requires is very minimal. So far, the only tools I've had to use is my screwdriver for a total of 16 screws, my knife for drilling out the additional holes that are required in the protection plate, if you will, and my handy dandy any size fits all good old solid steel alloy wrench for tightening down the motor mounts, or I'm sorry, the prop nuts. And you're just going to snug them down, and that's it, buddy. I'm going to finish snugging the rest of these guys down, and then we are going to install the receiver, and we will have a completely built RCI 650. So bear with me, I'll be right back.